I'm here with my FT65R, which I wanted to use for a volunteer opportunity, an opportunity to give back to the community, not just practice radio, but put it to some good use. So I volunteer for the Twin City Marathon, which turned out to be a ton of fun. Although my day got started before 6 a.m., so I headed up in the dark looking for my location. Turned out to be a fairly windy, gusty morning, and the temperatures were quite a bit lower than we have been experiencing this summer. So went up there with a jacket on. Once I got on site, I was standing by a little lake here, and you could see the sailboats. The sun is getting ready to rise. It's quite beautiful out there. Although I didn't see anybody, didn't see preparations at the location I thought I was supposed to be at. And that leads to the first lesson I learned here. Make sure you do your homework. The location information I've gotten at the events I've volunteered so far often are a crossroads or some other information. They're not a Google dot on a map. When you look at my situation on the left side there's a highlighter indicating 42nd Street. I was supposed to be at 42nd and Lake Harriet. That's absolutely true there, but it's also kind of true on the right there. 42nd continues on the far side of the lake. However, the intersection doesn't actually happen. The road changes to another name, and I just needed to cross-reference where the race actually went. Fortunately, I was pretty close and everything worked out timing-wise, but make sure you do your homework when preparing for an event like this. Once I got to the correct area, it was clear this is where the event was happening. Volunteers everywhere, aid stations being put up, and I made a connection with Paul here, N0JOD. You can see me on the left there, KF0IWN, getting ready for the beginning of the race. We had plenty of time to look around, make sure we had our bearings before the first contestants came through. The final lead car was about to pass, and our first task was to tailnet control that first male and female athletes were coming through. As you can tell, that noise level really made that difficult, so it highlights how important it is to practice before you go and do something in the real world like this. It will really make a big difference in operating effectively. Here I am getting ready to report first female athlete through, and I had my radio attached to my hip, and the antenna was right next to my body, so when I tried to make my report, I didn't get good propagation, so I had to repeat my call, and it took me some time to realize I really needed to hold the radio up, and it led to another insight here. When you're operating with an HT, and any radio really, but in this situation where you're confined to an HT, you really need to affix it somewhere where the antenna is high on your person as possible. So my next purchase will be a chest rig or something like this one here that I think will, number one, help propagation, but the other thing I noticed when I was operating hip mounted like this is if I needed to bend over to grab something, having it on the hip made movement difficult. The other big reason for being out there is to provide communication for medical situations or folks that were not going to finish. Fortunately, nothing major happened in our watch. We had blisters, chafing, folks with spasming muscles, that kind of stuff, nothing major. But that's such an important community function to be there, and ham radio operators have a special skill that we can bring to bear. So I hope you will consider doing something like this. I think it's exciting, it's really quite a bit of fun. Get you out there, get you to meet some new people. I hope you enjoyed this, and you'll come back for a future video. Talk to you all later.